أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. My Muslim brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Almighty Allah for making this tafsir sitting online possible. It is a sitting meant for the congregation of Al-HUDA MASJID in Upper Melonia quarters in BYAZHIN-KUBWA, FCT Abuja, Nigeria. I am Chief Imam Dr. RAFEE Al-Ijebuwi, and my reciter, the Agency General, is Malam Abdul Hamid Bello. We welcome you all to this program, hoping that you will all benefit from it abundantly. May Almighty Allah come to our help. Amen. Because this coronavirus lockdown is biting hard on everybody. But thank God, we are forging ahead with our programs, even as we are not able to assemble in the masjid, so that we don't contribute to the spread of the COVID-19. Madam, let us start. We are starting from verse 141. Probably it will be the only verse we are going to undertake in this sitting. 141 from Surah Al-Imran, Quran chapter 3.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وليمحص الله الذين آمنوا ويمحق الكافرين. صدق الله العظيم.
The English translation of the meaning.
وليمحص الله الذين آمنوا.
Allah allowed what happened in the battle of Uhud, of wounds and killings in the ranks of you, the Muslims, so that he will use that one to purify those who have believed in the message of Muhammad. وَيَمْحَقَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And at the same time, we will use that one to deprive the unfaithful people, to deprive them of blessings of Allah. Let us now go to the commentaries. This verse 141 is speaking about the wisdom underlying the partial defeat suffered by the Muslim troops at the Battle of Uhud, led by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are to remember well that verse 140 spoke about how the alternation and the rotation of victory among the Muslims and non-Muslims doesn't signify the total fall of the Muslims who experience pains the same way their enemies experience the pain. Because in Surah An-Nisa, Quran chapter 4, in verse 104, Almighty Allah says, وَلَا تَهِنُوا. Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 104. 104.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تهنوا في ابتغاء القوم.
You Muslims should not be weak-hearted in pursuing the people to their hideouts, where they are hiding to hurt you, to hit you.
إن تكونوا تعلمون.
Because if you Muslims experience the pain,
فإنهم يعلمون كما تعلمون.
your enemies also experience the pain the way you suffer it.
وترجون من الله ما لا يرجون.
The only difference is that you have hope of having a reward from Allah such that they have no interest in. You hope to either win or attain martyrdom. But for them, all they are about is to win. They will never like to die. They will never like to die. But for you, you will like to win or die and attain martyrdom. That is just the difference between the two parties.
وكان الله عليما حكيما.
Allah remains ever knower of things and ever wise in whatever he is doing. See, if Muslims had monopolized victory in that era of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who were not wanted in Islam would have embraced it with a destructive motive in their minds. So, only the true followers stayed within Islam in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for the good, for the bad, unlike the fake believers, those who are not faithful. Because as they did in later battles fought by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, such as the adventure of Tabuk, Almighty Allah informed us the way the unfaithful ones behaved, as in Surah Tawbah, Quran chapter 9, verse 46. Surah Tawbah, verse 46.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولو أرادوا الخروج.
Had they intended going forth with the troops,
لأعدوا له عدة ولكن كره الله بعاثهم.
they would certainly have provided equipment in preparation for it. But Allah did not like sending them ahead. And so,
فثبطهم وقيل اقعدوا مع القاعدين.
And so Almighty Allah kept them back, and they were told to hold back with those sitting at home, instead of causing confusion for you in their bid to make you fall from grace to grass. Allah forbid. So, that was about verse 140. So, Now, this verse 141, Almighty Allah informed us there that He allowed what occurred to the Muslims to occur. وَلِيُمَحِّصَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا
وَلِيُمَحِّصَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا.
Because there are so many wisdoms behind it, so that Allah, through trials, He the Almighty, may purify from sins those who truly believed in the mission of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so, with that, Allah will make the true believers distinct in their ability to put a new life into the Muslim community. That was how the sovereign, during the Battle of Uhud, demonstrated its mission in their life afterwards. Instead of them getting weak-hearted, they became more courageous to stand with Allah, and with that Almighty Allah stood by them. وَلِيُمَحِّصَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا
وَلِيُمَحِّصَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا.
Almighty Allah He allowed and permitted what occurred in Uhud to take effect, so that He will use that one to purge the believers, to clarify the believers, to thoroughly examine who are the believers, to test those proclaiming allegiance to Islamic faith, so that those who are not fervent believers could be easily identified and subsequently removed from the list of the faithful, as they are not wanted to stain the integrity of khayru ummatin ukhrijatil linnas, the best religious community purposely created to guide the rest of mankind, the Muslim Ummah. As for those who are not true in their proclamation of allegiance to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were serving as informants to the enemies of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, since they posed double dealers. They were not sincere in their proclamation of being Muslims. Instead of that, as in Surah An-Nisa, verse 143, Surah An-Nisa, Quran, chapter 4, verse 143, those hypocrites, مذبذبين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Verse 143, Surah An-Nisa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
مذبذبين بين ذلك. 143.
مذبذبين بين ذلك.
Those people are hesitating in that. La
إله هؤلاء ولا إله هؤلاء.
They were neither to the right, neither to the left. They were neither to these true Muslims, and they were neither with these Jews who are enemies of Islam.
ومن يضلل الله فلن تجد له سبيلا.
Anyone that has been allowed to go astray by Allah, nobody will ever فلن تجد له
فلن تجد له سبيلا.
Nobody will ever be able to find a way out for him from his dilemma. Not knowing which one to say and which one to follow and which one to do, right or left, because Almighty Allah has allowed him to go astray. May Almighty Allah never let that one be our own portion. In this verse 141, Almighty Allah says, وَلِيُمَحِّصَ
وَلِيُمَحِّصَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَيَمْحَقَ الْكَافِرِينَ.
وَيَمْحَقَ الْكَافِرِينَ. وَيَمْحَقَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And so that Almighty Allah will use that situation to destroy the unfaithful, the unbelievers, the disbelievers. The word disbelievers here will either mean the hypocrites or the idol worshippers. The idol worshippers who were about destroying Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his troop. If they were to solely win the war and have victory, if they were the only victors during the battle of Badr, they would have done worse than what they did. If Almighty Allah allowed them to solely have access to victory, they would be too inordinately transgressive. Because if you look at the situation of the world military power of today, the military supremacy of today has shown how the anti-Islam forces and Islamophobia vindicates that content of saying the idol worshippers, that is, all parties of the non-believers are just the same. Milalul kufri wahid. They are just the same in attempting to eliminate Muslims from existence. They want to exterminate Muslims from existence. You know, in Surah Tawbah, Quran chapter 9, in verse 10 of Surah Tawbah, Almighty Allah says, La yarqubun.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Surah Tawbah verse 10. Tawbah verse 10.
لا يرقبون
في مؤمن إلا ولا ذمة.
لا يرقبون في مؤمن إلا ولا ذمة.
They don't regard ties of relationship, and they do not regard treaties of any kind with the believers in Islam. You have to consider what they are doing today in Palestine to the Arabs, what they are doing in Burma to the Rohingya Muslims. and what they are doing in China to the Muslims and in many other countries of the world.
لا يرقبون في مؤمن إلا ولا ذمة.
If they are supreme in power, they will have no regard for relationship ties, not to talk of any treaties. And that is why Allah already warned us never to take them for bosom friends, that we should not trust them. Not that we should not have friends among them. No, we can have friends among them, but we should not take them as our confidence. We should not take them as our confidence, because we have our Muslim brothers and sisters who should be taken as our confidence. So, Al-Kafiruna here can be the idol worshippers and their allies, just as Al-Kafiruna can be the hypocrites, because all residents of Medina who claimed loyalty to the Prophet when he migrated and they were about enthroning Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Abi Salul as a king, they had even prepared his crown. They were just about enthroning him and putting the crown on his head as the king. The Prophet ﷺ migrated, and that one did not go down well with the man. So that was the reason why he was only displaying hypocrisy. He did not sincerely believe in Allah and his messenger, but hypocritically. But that notwithstanding, whenever there was call for all residents to come together and discuss, the Prophet ﷺ never differentiated. He used to interact and interrelate with all and sundry, because they were all living in the same city. Therefore, all residents of Medina who claimed loyalty to the Prophet against idol worshippers and their Jewish allies followed the Prophet ﷺ to the Battle of Badr in the second year after the migration, because the Battle of Badr occurred in the first fasting of Ramadan, when fasting of Ramadan was prescribed in the second year. So, hypocrites also were among the troops of the Prophet ﷺ to that battle. They were not able to influence the battle because of the heavy presence of the angels, whom Allah sends to go and support the Muslims. And so, their presence made it easy for the Sahaba to win that war so easily. Many idol worshippers were killed, and many of them were taken as captives of war. However, in the case of the Battle of Uhud, Allah so decided to clear out and let those who are hypocrites be known among the ranks of the Muslim warriors. And therefore, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Abi Salul, who is the ringleader of the hypocrites, tried all avenues and tried all tricks within his reach to frustrate the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to make him never succeed in the battle. He and his accomplices left with the faithful Sahaba for the battleground, but he suddenly withdrew his accomplices along the way, and they started making jest out of the faithful as they were passing by them, because when they withdrew, they climbed to a nearby place, and as the troops were passing, they were making jest out of them. They said, look at these people. Muhammad is going to give them easy praise for the Qurayshi to kill. And these people are not using their common sense. What is your number? The Qurayshi troops are 3,000. And look at your own number. You are just 700 now with our withdrawal. So, Ibn Abi Salul and his accomplices tried to seduce people, but Almighty Allah stabilized the hearts of those people, since the battle was a testing time to certain their allegiance to Islam. Although some of those people, as earlier mentioned, because of their relationship with Ibn Abi Salul biologically, because he belonged to the aborigines of Medina, Aus and Hazraj. So they were sometimes skeptical whether they should follow the Prophet or not, because Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Abi Salul and his accomplices were asking two tribes, were asking two clans from the two tribes to join them and never proceed on to the battleground. And because that battle was a testing time to strengthen the allegiance of those who are faithful as against those who are too weak in their faith. Those people were initially wavering and shaking, hesitating in between proceeding or receding, either to proceed with the Prophet or to recede with Ibn Abi Salul, the ringleader, until Allah inculcated in their minds the decision and the choice of steadiness in their support for the Prophet. And so they went with him, and the battle took place, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped the Muslims to win the battle, even when the 50 acres disappointed, and the direction changed when many Muslims were martyred and the Prophet was wounded with the disobedience of those 50 acres. But at last, Almighty Allah sent fears into the hearts of the idol worshippers. They carried their belongings and fled away. So this verse 141 in brief is about the wisdom underlying the partial defeat suffered by the Muslims in that battle, because Almighty Allah used that one to caution the Muslims that you must always obey your leaders. That is just the lesson there. Muslims should not be expecting victory all the time without working for it. You want a permanent victory, then you have to unite. You have to remain one. You should not divide yourselves. If you divide yourselves, then your enemy would come in the way they came in during the battle of battle. May Almighty Allah unite us into brotherliness. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Allahumma rabbana afrigh alayna sabran wa thabbit aqdamana wansurna ala al-qawmi al-kafirin. Now let us take a look into the commentaries made by the writers of Tafsir al-Muyassar about this verse 141. They say, وَهَذِهِ الْعَزِيمَةِ, this defeat, التي وقعت في أحد, that occurred at the battleground of Uhud, كانت اختبارا, was a test, a trial, وتصفية للمؤمنين, and a purification measure for the believers, those who are true believers. وَتَخَلِيصٌ لَهُمْ مِنَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ, and to separate them so clearly from the hypocrites, the double dealers. وَهَلَاكًا لِلْكَافِرِينَ, and also a total destruction for the infidels. Because, as you could see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped the Muslims even when they were helpless. Oh Almighty Allah, as you helped them in that time, help us in our own time. Because Anta al-Hayyu alladhi la tamut, you are the living God who doesn't die. Ya Hayyu ya Qayyum, birahmatika nastaghith, aslih lana sha'nana kullahu, wa la takilna ila anfusina tarfata ayn, ya Aziz ya Ghaffar ya Rabbal alamin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Wa subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursalin, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.